Ah, how you doing there? My name's Nicholas Joseph Miles. I'm the National Brand Ambassador of Sailor Jerry Spice Rum. And I'm here to tell you a story of what we would call the Jerry Can Ride, where we took 12 amazing people from Melbourne to Brisbane over 2,500 kilometres. This story entitles a lot of partying, a lot of driving, and of course, a lot of shenanigans. I'll talk to you guys soon about where we stopped off, straight after this.
I'm Mark. Basically, I'm the founder of the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride and Throttle Roll, which is a motorcycle / live music gig in Sydney. We're heading from Melbourne to Brisbane. Some new friends here and some old friends here, which is going to make it a pretty fun ride. Me, it was a bit weird. I just woke up one morning and decided to get a motorcycle, and it just came out of absolutely nowhere. My body is not the temple, the bike is the temple.
Hi, I'm Jacinta Sarakiza. I've been riding for 12 years now, and it's just something that I've grown up doing. This is my dream bike. It's a Triumph Thruxton. I rode one for the first time in 2010, and I only bought this last year, so it took me 5 years to get it. It's my baby, Dorian. It seems like a really good cruise, so I reckon we're gonna have a blast on the road. I can't wait.
Seriously guys, thanks for all coming. This trip is going to be amazing. We'll be stopping along a couple of venues, throwing some ultimate parties and really sitting down, getting to know each other. I couldn't have picked a better select of people with the help of the Kontented guys and Andrew down there. I've got some little presents for you guys. And I think we're about to hit the road, drive safe, look after each other, and let's have some fun, yeah? On the first day, we started off in St Kilda, right outside Luna Park. From there, we travelled all the way to Albury.
Hey, my name's Leo. This is a 2007 Bonneville. It's been customised. It's a bit of a kind of, I guess, a rat rod sort of style bike. So all brand new running gears, but I guess an old patina tank off a T100. Born in Adelaide and then moved up to Brisbane when I was like 13. So I'm very much a Queenslander now.
Hey, my name is Dina. I'm part of this Jerry Can Ride that's going on. I like riding because I'm in my own space and it's just like my little world and I get to feel the world. This is my first bike and only bike. It's the start of a journey.
It's strange how something as simple as a motorbike can bring so many people together. There's people that you prefer to ride next to, there's people that you end up always riding behind or in front of, and everyone finds their little zone and their chemistry. You know, when you get off the bikes, you've still got that idea in your head.
Unfortunately, we are stocking the bike of shame because I had a bit of a flat and we couldn't replace it on the spot. I actually had to ride that for the first, I think it was about 50 to 100k. It's comfy, barely goes 80 k's an hour, struggles on the braking, sounds like you're whistling every time you hold the front brake on. Surprisingly, after finishing the ride on this thing, the bike of shame didn't actually feel that bad.
Guys, seriously, day one down, so raise your glasses to you guys. Oi!
Chris and I own a company called RV Go Caravan Repairs. Luckily we got to fix up the Airstream. For a few years now they would take it away in its old form and trash the shit out of it and then bring it to us. And then one day I got a call and they said they wanted to strip it and fix it all up, and we all got really excited. It was the best thing that happened. It was so much fun. It was the centerpiece of our shop. Everyone looked at it, it created so much interest, we had so much fun from start to finish, and it was just, it was so cool on so many levels, it's unbelievable.
I'm Andy Minnis from Andy's Restorations, custom car builder from Sydney. Solar Jerry approached us a couple of years ago to do a concept on a Dodge truck. They wanted something a little bit different. We sanded it right down and we applied 3 different coats of paint on it. We colour sanded it so it all looked at a patina look through it, you know, and then put all that rust effect to it, which took hours and hours and hours. And people have seen the Solar Jerry on ads and at shows and events and that, and they all still think it's decals, but when they actually touch it, they can't believe it's actually paint, and it's blown them away.
On the first day, I was just like, where did that car go with people in it?
Yeah.
And where did the people go?
G'day, my name's Tommy J. I'm riding a 1988 Harley Sportster. We've just got to Albury at the moment. We stayed here the night and I think we're taking off to Jindabyne this morning. I've been riding since probably I was about 4 or 5 years old. I started back out in Tamworth, family farm. I think my first bike was a little Pee-wee 50, it was my cousin's bike. I suppose as I got older, I just never lost the passion for it. It's always been a lot of fun getting on the 2 wheels, really.
So I'm Jared, I'm from the Gold Coast. This is my bike, this is an old 81 KZ 750. Picked it up off my very old neighbour. I went to buy his old CB 250 and he found this under a wool rug that's got less than 7,000 Ks on it. I'm on the ride because this is something I've been wanting to do ever since I was about 16 years old. Watched these motorbike documentaries of dudes just on the open road, killing it, no rules, no responsibility, just absolute freedom.
It's a rush like nothing else. Like, it's a freedom. I feel when I ride that I'm actually sort of a part of the environment and the world around me. You can smell people's cooking as you ride past their houses. In spring you can smell like the blossoms in the air. It's completely different to being in an enclosed bubble like in a car or any other sort of mode of transportation.
At one stage we've gone from deep rainforest, and as we turn the next corner it was like snow-capped mountains. Bam, like look at that view.
That is by far the best stretch of road I've ever ridden in my entire life. It just looks like something out of this planet. Absolutely amazing.
But when we get to this place, you know, there was cows going across the road, you know, we're getting deeper and deeper in this and the mountains are getting bigger and bigger, and we finally pull up and there is this rickety old cabin that's like you could park a train in it. It was just amazing.
I'd have to say the guys at Sailor Jerry know how to pick their riders. They've done so well on this. We're all very like-minded people. We all got quite large personalities and it's just a fun group to be around.
Today's also a pretty special day for myself. Today marks 4 days with Sailor Jerry that I started from.
4 days?
4 years, sorry. 4 years.
Tina did my hair.
I'm
Check out them
really well
braids.
known for my braiding skills
Check out
in
them
the
braids.
land of Brisbane. My work of art.
Like ASAP says, you got them braids.
Did you expect a girl? I'm glad it's holding up.
God, I think someone wise once said that 4 wheels move the body, 2 wheels move the soul. That's what I love about motorbikes. You're just so connected. You know, your hand has the ability to make you move considerably faster with the tiniest movement, and it's just the connect, the human, the machine, the road, the soul. A few larrikins on the tour, a lot of camaraderie. I think it's less about riding really well or really fast, it's just about having a good time. So with those goals in mind, we've been kicking ass.
My name's Luke Muller. I'm from True Love Tattoo in Brisbane. I started riding when I was about 4 years old. My dad bought me a three-wheeler. When I turned about 16, I started riding trail bikes to school. Just getting out in the countryside, especially, sort of country rides and stuff are really nice because the roads are fairly empty. But yeah, it's good riding with a bunch of friends as well.
I'm Jimmy Good. I run a space in Melbourne called the Custom Commune, which is a DIY motorcycle workshop. So I guess I come from a bit of a hot rodding background as well, and so that whole sort of 50s, 60s era of tattoos was really appealing to me. And yeah, I'm basically covered, entire torso, and working on the legs now of Sailor Jerry style tattoos. I really like the big, bold designs. I think they're a really timeless design. It doesn't matter if you had one in the 50s or you get one in 20 years' time. It's still a really rad tattoo. And I think this style of tattooing will go forever. I really think they're timeless.
My name's Ewan. I'm the online and marketing manager at LSB Custom Motorcycles in Brisbane. Tattoos are an expression of oneself, and bikes the same. So, it's a good insight to who they are and, the background that they've had or, what they've grown up doing.
The whole cafe racer scene and the chopper scene was really at its peak in the 1950s and the 1960s. And this is like peak Sailor Jerry era. When the guys are coming back from the war, they had all these leftover machines and they were chopping them up and making them go faster because they had nothing else to do with them. And I think that whole era of being a little bit rebellious really molds with motorcycles.
Ewan and Leo I think they were riding two bikes that LSB boys actually built. One looked like an old Steam McQueen bike and one looked like more of a tourer. And the deal there is I think they made a bit of a deal with each other that they were going to take a comfortable bike, something that would ride really well, and a bike that looked just rad. The biggest reason why they were changing over so much is because whoever was riding the Triumph was just getting sore. It was a hard seat. There was little suspension in that bike. And so every pull over, they're sitting there flipping a coin over, nah, it's your turn, nah, it's your turn. Like, as a bike just to ride around town, that bike would be amazing. But to ride, 2,500, 3,000 kilometers on, I think they can thank their lucky stars that they actually had two bikes. I wish I had had two bikes.
The main thing I like about custom bikes is it's a reflection of the people who own them. It's a better reflection of people, and more these days people just don't want cookie cutter stuff. They don't want to be in a mold. They want to do different things, and they want to, they want some individuality, and it's a better reflection than just buying something from a dealership. Whenever I think of bikes, I think of all the good times I've had with mates and riding and that type of thing, and I guess that's why the Sailor Jerry ride is really good fun, because it's bikes and making good memories and good friends.
Visions flashing in my eyes, twisted triggers deep inside. The walls are gone, it's hard to say what it is that hides away, what it is that hides away.
I've always wanted to have a motorbike since I was really little. I always wanted to do it, and I just thought to myself, yeah, I'm just going to do it. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm shit scared. I'm just going to throw myself into it. So I was bored at work and just did the online test and then just pumped it out from there and got myself a bike. Oh, I just loved it. I loved being on the bike. I just loved just being in my own space. I'm a musician and I find so much space and time in my helmet that I think about things, and I'm creative and I write lyrics and I come up with melodies. When I pull over at the next petrol station, go out to the Macca's in the corner, and I'll just be like, all right, I'm good to go, and I'll just go off again. And so I don't know, it's just like another office space for me, where it's just me, my head, and the road, and I just love it.
My name is Harley Bukowski. I'm a mechanic on the tour. I run a workshop in Sydney called RB Racing. I build custom and race bikes there. Being a mechanic is more than just a job for me. It's really been a lifestyle. Since I was a little kid, I was building model cars and model bikes, modifying push bikes. I've now been a mechanic for 25 years, but I've really immersed my entire life into it. They've had me along for this tour to fix whatever I can. I was sort of expecting the odd little thing, but yeah, I've been put to work a lot. Harder than I thought.
Harley pretty much made it a quest of his to get my bike from Melbourne straight into Brisbane. There were a few times where we'd pulled over on the side of the road. He's sitting there looking at it and going, well, we've got the back of the truck, it's up to you. And I'm like, mate, come hell or high water, we're gonna get this bike to Brizzy.
From Wollongong, we made our way to Sydney through all the traffic, because that's what Sydney's known for. From there, we partied on Frankie's. Tell you what, it was one hell of a party.
My name is Ginger Taylor and I'm a sign writer. I kind of fell into sign writing. I didn't really know how far it could go. Like, I mean, I think when you do anything creative, you're your own worst critic. I would just draw things and be like, oh, this is just normal and not very good. And then I started an Instagram and it kind of went off. When I first got the job for doing the sign writing at Rambling Rascals, I know that the boys wanted a lot of Sailor Jerry flash, but they wanted it done with like an Australiana feel. So I basically just took a whole bunch of original artwork that Norman Collins had done himself. And this one behind me, you'll see, like, this used to have American flags and I just changed it to Australian. And like, there's a kangaroo one up there and I've like put an Akuba on it and that kind of thing. Just proper Sailor Jerry stuff, but turned into my own bit. I think I just love the brand so much because it's just a big old party. There's no judgment. You don't have to have tattoos to like fit into any of it. It's just like everybody's super accepting, super cool, wants to watch good music. The rum is great, the clothing's great, and it's just all around a good time.
Hi, my name is Charlie. I think it has its own sort of attitude, if you will. It's an everything bar. I think that's why people are attracted to it. It's welcoming, it's non-threatening. Generally, a lot of bars these days can have an overwhelming sort of sense when you walk into them. I don't think Ramblin' has that. I think as soon as you walk in, it feels lived in.
Motorbikes are a really uniting thing. It's funny, you can sit down and talk motorbikes with someone that you don't know. So all you have to see is someone else wearing like their motorcycle patch, or, you know, if they turn up and they've got their motorcycle leathers, you just sit down and have a chinwag with them about the open road. If you ride a bike, you can talk with anyone else that rides a bike for hours with ease.
Yeah, I've always been interested in Japanese tattooing. It's like normally just as bold as American style tattooing, and I like to actually mix American style stuff with Japanese. I think that's where actually Norman Collins got his ideas from. He did a lot of that, mixing Americana with Japanese.
Sailor Jerry was pretty much the man. He didn't just join a culture, he started a culture. He took his talents and he took inspiration from other cultures, other races, other forms of tattooing, and he created his own, and it was split 50-50 with a lot of his work. It was bright, it was bold, it was beautiful, but it was also grimy and gutsy and loud, and if you wore it, it was like a sticker of pride. You had it, you were tough, you're in the Navy, you're in the Army, any form of like combat fighting, you had a Sailor Jerry sticker.
I have met a couple of merchant seamen that were tattooed by Jerry. One of the guys had one of the most classic Hong Kong sort of hooker girl, and she's in a purple dress, and it's a really famous design. He had that, and the eyes had white in them, and the gown was in purple, and it was still, it looked like it was about 10 years old, and it was like about 40 years old.
Sailor Jerry. He had a small business in Honolulu, but it wasn't just the tattooing he did. He thought, yeah, I can be a tattooist, but I could also be a radio guy, I could also be a fisherman. You know, just have fun. It wasn't about pigeonholing yourself into one career. Why not, if you have a space, have it as a creative space? Have it somewhere where it's somewhere where people can like come into, hang out, and come up with new ideas of what they could do with themselves.
So Chris Johnston, Chris one.
Chris as well, Chris too.
That's
And
right.
we own the Edwards.
We own the Edwards. We do.
It was a pretty big, grand vision, something that we really wanted to be everything from a soapbox for the community through to good food, through to laundry, the record shop, butlers are on board in the workshop. I think we just had so many ideas we didn't want to let go, so we thought we'd just cram it into these walls and have a crack.
There's people like Sailor Jerry that you can kind of take a little bit from and go, I like that. It really just lets you know that, you know, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want.
My name is Patrick Stevenson. I'm a photographer. I take photos of people, musicians, all sorts of good things. Today's been epic. We rode from Newcastle all the way to these little tiny beaches, I think Bluesy Beach or something. It was awesome. Riding is great when you're on the road, but it's awesome when you stop and you can all reflect on the moments that you've just shared. I mean, today we pulled up next to this beach and went for a swim, and we just went straight into the ocean. It was great. There was food there waiting for us. So it's just when you get together with all your buddies, you've been riding all day, it's just you're taking the gear off, you're all sweaty, you're in the same state of mind, and it's just good to come together as a small unit afterwards, and yeah, sharing the experience is great. My favourite thing about riding is, I guess when you're in a crew, you don't even need to talk to people, you just look at them when you experience something and you're just like, that was epic. Or something might run out in front of you and you narrowly miss death, and you just don't even need to speak, and you can all share the moment. I guess riding with your buddies and everything, you could sort of do whatever you want to do. You don't have to stick to the traffic. You're splitting through everything. You're sort of paving your own way. So it's just great to be out there and creating your own vibe, and getting away from everything that everyone else does, and paving your own path.
So my name is Amanda, and I am from Austin, Texas. I was actually just hanging out during the Sailor Jerry party in Sydney at Frankie's, and met up with Jacinta and Jimmy and Ewan and some other people that were doing the ride. And it's been really fun, and they were telling me all about it and how they've been riding through all these beautiful back roads and going to these great little towns. And so I said, well, I have 5 days off work in the coming week, but maybe I could go. And Jimmy said, oh, let me go talk to somebody. And here I am. And I have my tattoo on my leg that's from a Sailor Jerry tattoo party that I went to. I'm actually kind of excited to get another Sailor Jerry tattoo while I'm here. Motorcycles have been a big part of why I moved over to Australia. For me, it's like a contemplative place to be. You've got just you and the bike and the road, and there's a lot of love for just the way that it can bring you out into nature and bring you to new places. You've got this attraction to being different, and I think we get a bit complacent in our lives, and with tattoos and riding motorcycles, you kind of break out of that. You get to kind of enter this subculture and this world that's only for the rebels, or for the people that are willing to take a bit of a risk and live their life maybe outside of the norms.
This ride is absolutely amazing. It's just exactly what you imagine and perceive motorcycle riding to be all about. Over the last 7 days, we've just come together as a little family and bonded, and the bikes is the thing, the common denominator that we all have, and it's adventuring and good times and friendships and all those fun things that you do with people. But then once you get on your bike and you're in your helmet and you're in your zone, even though you've got all your mates around you, it's still this solace and this amazing sort of experience that you get to have yourself in your own headspace and in your own time, and it's just beautiful to share that with such a good crew.
I'm Nicholas Miles, the National Brand Ambassador for Australia and New Zealand for Sailor Jerry Spice Rum. I think I've got about 12 photos so far with the Big Banana. I would say it all started when I first took over the national role, which was about 2 years ago. And for some reason, just driving back and forth to Sydney to Brisbane to do festivals up in Brisbane, always decided, Big Banana, pull over, have a good photo. It's like an iconic kind of thing that's been in Coffs Harbour. It's just it's just sort of really hits home for Australia.
We're in Yamba at Squall and Anchor Tattoo, a friend of mine, Ben Ross's shop. So we're here just doing some tattoos on some of the riders and some of the crew, doing a bunch of Sailor Jerry style tattoos on them. Most of them motorcycle themed, but a lot of the guys are going for the, there's a skull with a set of handlebars coming out of it, so I think I'm gonna do a few of those. There seems to be a link still with sailor tattoos and being by the ocean, and this town especially was an old fishing town as well, so there is a strong link with sailors and fishermen, so there's a lot of old tattoos coming out of this town.
I think tattoos are sort of personal to everybody. Some people need to have meaning. Some people need to have a reason for getting a tattoo. Personally, I sort of think that I like the aesthetics. I like how they look. I do have some that have maybe some meaning. Some are just done by friends and it's not the design, it's just the fact that my friend has tattooed me and we've had fun doing it.
There was a huge hot rod show on in the town centre of Yamba. Man, there was rad old American muscle cars and hot rods filling the entire town. It was awesome. We hit the road and headed straight for Byron Bay. So the great thing about being on a motorcycle is you do have that ability just to change plans instantly. The plan was to hang out down the beach and just basically be by the sea. We got a phone call while we were having a couple of snacks in Byron and said that there's a massive storm coming through. We'd started with a couple of little drops and then it was an absolutely torrential rainstorm and we got drenched instantly. So when we arrived, the sun came out and there was a pool here. So we wrung out our clothes, jumped in the pool.
When we pull up to the venue, we pull up to the hotel, we've got a bottle of Sailor Jerry, we just sit around and we talk about what's been happening. We share a drink, we share our stories, we share our experiences. It's a perfect end to a day.
Today we've just ridden to Byron Bar and this is my hometown. Yeah, we thought we'd pop in and say a quick g'day to everyone, and we've stopped in to see the locals, catch up with the family, and they've put on a massive spread for us here on the main street, so we're really stoked. All the riders are here, the whole community's come out. It's been a great morning. Little history about this town is that if you come in from one side, it's called Broadway, where if you come in from the other side, it's called Little Broadway. So it's actually a one-strip town with two streets. I can say I'm happy, but I could also say if they wanted to keep riding, I would. I'm not sure if Harley would want to follow me the whole way. I've had a teensy little bit of bike trouble.
Tommy's bike. That one's been a challenge, and it's now such a challenge. The mission has become, how can we keep this thing on the road? We've had issues with it from day one. Prior to this trip, I'd never met Tommy before. And he dropped his bike into my workshop to have it shipped down to Melbourne for the beginning of the ride. And even at that point, I had a look at it and said, come on, mate, you're kidding. This thing's not making it from Melbourne to Brisbane. And he assured me it would. And he's such a gentleman that it's actually been quite a pleasure to be on this journey with him to keep this thing going. It's become a quest for he and I to get it to Brisbane in one piece or several pieces. We don't really care as long as it gets there and not on a trailer. It has to be under its own steam.
I know how much he loves this thing. Me, Harley, and this bike are going to be best of friends. You know, by the end of this trip, we are definitely on a mission to get this bike there.
My name's Leo. I'm an industrial designer and also a custom motorcycle builder. So we design a lot of motorbikes through my company called Ella Speed, and we essentially take bikes that are either new or old and then tear them all apart, design them from the ground up, and then fabricate and build a lot of bits and pieces, and then actually put them together to essentially form a new creation. They're sort of like one-off pieces, like almost like artwork. I guess what drew me to custom bikes is the freedom of being able to take something that's stock and trying to turn it back into something that the designer actually intended to do. I watched a movie called The World's Fastest Indian, and pretty much as soon as I watched that, I was like, that's it, I'm getting a motorbike. And I didn't sort of stop from that point on. Over these past 10 days, we've just been building an amazing camaraderie with like all of the riders. You know, starting off in Melbourne, only really knowing a few people, and then, you know, sort of fast forward to, you know, sort of today, and everyone's getting along like a house on fire.
We're here in Brisbane, we rode home.
Oh my goodness, we made it!
Melbourne to Brisbane, what, 2,400 Ks later? Great bunch of people, met some new friends, forged some even better friendships with people I already knew, at a few parties. Now I've got a few more stories to tell, which is great.
No, I've definitely made friends for life.
Have we made friends for life? Thank God you got that. Natalie burst into tears.
The friends that you made along the way were awesome. Like, we're still in contact. There's a group text that's been constantly going. Every time I look down at the phone, there's 150 messages going. So it's like, wow, I put it down for an hour. You know, we've really made some good friends out of this.
I was actually thinking, you know, where to next? What are we doing tomorrow? Like, how far's the ride? So let's just keep the story going.
On the last night, we went to the most amazing venue called Lefties. Where we got all the riders together. Upstairs, we had all the bands like Barefoot Alleyway, Australia, and Velociraptor to join in and really bring it home for a closing party. One of the other riders, Dina, jumped on stage with her band and sung at the last moment. It was a great time.
No, I was so nervous about that, but it was just nice to like wrap everything up.
Watching you play on stage for the first time.
I'm glad you had enough Sailor Jerry in your system.
That was good. That was my favourite night.
This whole 10 days has just been fucking amazing, and without you guys, seriously, this just wouldn't have happened. So guys, drinks in the middle, give it up to Northern Colin.
We're really proud to share this journey with you, and hopefully we can continue on next year with the Jerry Can Ride too. We'll see where the journey takes us. We're going to start off with Melbourne, Louise. Oh, didn't see you guys there. This punk's going to run away again, but it's alright. From there, we ended up... That was awesome. Jerry Can Ride tattoos. Awesome. Fantastic.